What's up, everyone? This is Soul, and this is another episode of Leak Season. Echo, echo, echo. Okay, I'm not going to add the echoing, but this is where we take a look at the many leaks that are coming out before the official 10.0 announcement and talk smack about it. Now, of course, as a reminder, the way that I approach these leaks, none of them are real. They're all 120% fake. And so we're going to treat them like that. We're going to treat these as fan fiction and just try to appreciate some of these submissions, because some of these, I'm sure, are like super, I don't know, they're super good-minded. You know, they came with love. Some of them come with a bit of satire and mockery. But we're gonna talk a lot of smack about all of these. Thanks, folks, for subscribing. Again, we're doing this live as we have been doing because it saves me time. Thank you. And let's just kind of, let's just get right to it, because I thought I was full screen and, well, apparently I wasn't, so good going. We have 14, I believe, if I counted right, we have 14 leaks to go through. They're all going to be separated by the navigation bar, so go to the one that you think is cool, and let's start talking smack. So this one is Spoiler Warning 9.2, dates 10 to 11. To 11.0. I didn't look at any of these beforehand. I did glance at them to see, like, to kind of space out, okay, this is a long one, this is a short one, this is, you know, and that sort of thing. Who knows how we're going to react to, and let's go. So I sat here reading all the 10 leaks that are cropping up on here, and have to say a few have been close to what I've seen, so I created an account to post this. So firstly, I don't work for Blizzard and never have. However, I work as a third-party contractor, and I'm quite frequently in one of the Blizzard offices, of course. I'm not going to say which and where, as I don't want to risk my job or reveal my identity. And third-party contractors are pretty commonplace in the office during the pandemic. Sure. So I'm assuming it's the same for all the offices. All the outside contractors are meant to sign an NDA, so we wouldn't disclose anything, yada, yada, yada. We all know how that works. At least 12 people from different contractors that haven't signed one, maybe an oversight with all the extra COVID stuff going on. So he's trying to give himself cred, but he's already kind of setting himself up for failure because of the, you know, or he's setting himself up to lose his job, because I'm sure that there are very, very few people that go into the office, whether it's in California or any of the other Blizzard offices. And so revealing yourself like that, well, you're just kind of asking for it. So here, a proof of info so you can decide if I'm chatting BS or worth listening to. The 9.2 patch is on board for a March 1st release. They will announce it this coming Thursday at 1 or something like that. Okay. That's not proof. That's just like, hey, if I'm right, cool. If I'm not, then I'm not. Please. There's another big win post coming this week, but I'm not too sure I can safely disclose that without risk, as the department it's linked to is pretty small, but worth getting hype for, and it's going to. No, this yeah. He's not even getting to like the leak yet, but he just keeps discrediting himself more and more. I'm not sure if I can safely disclose blah, 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 but here I am, spilling the beans. Come on, dude. So on to 10.0, I have no idea of its name of the expansion, and to be honest, that stuff's kept pretty secret till a couple of months before it goes to press, and it's on as it's on any of the documents, I'd say 10.0 is going to be closer to April or May, like the launch or the announcement. Yeah, and at least this is my prediction. I wouldn't think that the name of the expansion would be on anything for, you know, until like the absolute last second. Anyway, the stuff I know covers what happened to Azeroth during the 9. Oh, so he's not even talking about 10.0 at all. Nothing planned with the sword for next expansion. It's under the elemental line on the board. More on that later. The first raid. He knows the raids. The first raid has 4 dragon bosses, 3 humanoid bosses, 3 creatures, and what looked like the room you're in is the boss. Looked pretty cool, but I'm not sure I'd like it as a boss. I've only seen four dungeon graphic styles, but I guess and say they're 2 per style, and the style look like they belong in some concept art I've seen. There was a zone that didn't match the WoW art style MO. Lots of tall buildings that look like spires with balls. If you Google that, you see then, but they look like the builds. Patience, Soul, patience. There's a cutscene with, well, a storyboard for what I'm guessing is accurate. He has Rathian, Sylvanas, and Anduin in Stormwind Keep Throne Room. This, I'd guess, intro the expansion. I seriously doubt that a third-party contractor person would be walking into storyboard. It would be walking into a room with, you know, the wall with the storyboards and stuff on it. Big doubt. Dragons feature very heavily in the artwork and questing. I haven't seen anything related to the Dragon Isle. Not say they are featured, but it's not the main areas or named on any boards that I caught sight of. Most of the stuff I've seen looks like older zone, but they aren't the same shapes as anything current, so I'd have to guess and say it's a new landmass, but I'm not sure. What, dude, we're seeing pictures of like things that are not familiar. Maybe it's new. This is some low fruit, man. I haven't seen anything about systems or stuff, so this thing tells me nothing. It's not, yeah, nothing to get me excited, man. I haven't seen anything about systems or stuff like that, but I can say everything looks like you're going to do stuff. And it's account wide, as there's a board with stuff that got stuff on like rep leveling, etc. And most stuff has ticks on it with a couple of question marks, but nothing has a cross on. It's like he's trying to say things, but not say things. Hey, here's what I've seen, but here's what I think it is, but it's probably not, but I think it is, but maybe. The only thing that I've seen related to player housing is some stuff about a guild hall. Oh, sold. Blockchain. Mage Tower, player housing, guild halls. Blockchain. That's how you instantly peak a little bit of my interest. And they basically are places to put trophies that give world buffs, like mount speed, extra gold, resources, etc. But that's been around for over a year, and I've not seen it on anything, so it may have been scrapped. So this is what I've seen, guys, but let me tell you what I think about it too. There's actually that kind of gives some credibility to it, because this guy is just like some bum ass MMO champion poster. Oh, let me post what I've got, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents about it. There's a new class being worked on. It doesn't look like a Tinker class. It has elemental pets, but I've also seen become like a cross between the werebear form and a shaman's earth ellie. I know that what a lot of us shared, and it's not going to be part of 10.0, but it'll be part of 10.3.5 as part of the 11.0 pre-order. 10. This isn't due in 2022, but early 2023. The storyline of the expansion, I'm scared to read the rest. The storyline of the expansion end up with a new elemental baddie lining up for an 11.0 that is something that is all about the elementals. There looks to be a fair bit of storyline work done for that. I think the above info is enough to give folks an idea of what's coming over the next 3 years. Without get out of here, dude. This is like a this is a 1. Sorry, dude. This is a bad start, man. Sorry. I was hoping for something a little bit exciting to kick things off, but next. All right, a shorty. Yeah, this was like needlessly long for what was just not well done. I mean, there's no knock that this person doesn't seem to have English as their first language. That doesn't bear in mind anything at all. It's just that he's not saying anything. I see nothing except for, you know, hey, here's when 9.2 will be announced, and here's a proof. Yeah. So if this guy is right, and there is an announcement for 9.2, and all this stuff is real, then we still have no idea what's going on anyway. Yeah, done. Moving on, 10.0, the Radiant Inquisition. We return to Azeroth to discover that the Lightbound from alternate Draenor already came through the Dark Portal, and Turalyon invited them to Stormwind, where Yrel now serves as his advisor. This is already garbage. This is whack. And here's why. Because I learned, it's something new that I learned. So this is the one that I fall back to on a lot. During the Night Fae quest line, you go back to Azeroth. So this first line, it asserts that while you were away, things were happening without your notice. No, that's not the kind of separation between Azeroth and the Shadowlands. We go back to like do stuff. Recently, I started doing the Ember Court, and that also, I forgot why, but that also had me return to Azeroth to like do some stuff, and then I come back again. So this is already like, this already falls apart like instantly. This is a record, losing all credibility within the first line, within the very first statement. Anyway, let's continue on though. Yrel is suspicious of Anduin and provokes him until he loses control and unleashes a wave of void magic which kills one of the Lightbound. Well, that's actually kind of plausible. Turalyon has him thrown in jail where Ilaria already is, and she says Yrel has brainwashed Turalyon, who now wants to cleanse them of the void. Rathian and Merithra? I'm not sure who that is. Rathian and Merithra help us free them, and we fly to the Dragon Isles, east of Quel'Thalas, where Rathian has been raising a new black Dragonflight. Why not go... Anyway. 4 new leveling zones inspired by the Mediterranean and Persia. Kavir, a desert world request with Anduin. Great, more Anduin? Ugh. And find Salatath, who we travel with through all the zones. Wow, really? So Anduin finds a new elf-looking person to like holler at. A new ancient elf person to like holler at. If anything, Anduin would be like, dude, she's like even older than Sylvanas. OMG. And then he has like a huge hard on the entire time. Anyway, Physis, Pine Forest and Olive Gardens filled with green dragonflight politics, and is the first part of Merithra's path to proving herself as a new leader to green dragons. Oh, okay, so I did not realize that Merithra is a existing character. This is where the first raid is going to be. Trials of the Green, the final parts of Merithra's Trials. So another, well, it has Emerald Nightmare vibes, but oh well. Salamanca, a volcanic isle where Rathian has been raising black dragons with the help of lizard folk. Rathian's like, I am the prince. You will obey me. And the lizards are like, they just make lizard sounds and shit. I command you. Mosor, a huge mountain with a cliff overlooking the sea, infested by the void, where Ilaria loses control and gives in to the void's control. This is where the second raid is going to be, the Fallen Temple, where we have to free Ilaria of life, probably. The fifth zone... Wait. Kavir, Physis, Salamanca, Mosor. Okay, cool. I thought... Counting... I'm not counting very well. The fifth zone is the Emerald Dream, where we fight the corruption of the void. New creatures include lizard folk, tree nymphs, Merid, Ifrit, minotaurs, and more minotaurs. Excuse me. I thought they were called Tauren, buddy. At level new allied race. Can we get like upright Tauren, please? At level 70, players can align themselves with either light or void, and they get cosmetics, story quests, and a reward track with different bonus. Oh, lingo, reward track with different bonuses like gold looted. Oh, with gold looted. Oh, that's not exciting. 20 levels in 10.0, and level 20. Wait, 20 levels. Maybe they're talking about the reward track. So renown. So there's 20 renown, and level 20 renown gives a helmet which we will upgrade in later patches to a legendary. Players earn levels by doing world events 2 per week. World events are meant to be a new version of world bosses and are a chain of in-game events that tell a part of the story in open world and give players epic loot. Four covenants will become new the four covenants, really? They'll become new allied races available in the pre-patch to those who buy the expansion. I hope they don't. Good God. I've talked about that already. Oh, we've been dead for like eons, but yeah, let's go ahead and do this Azeroth shit. Anyway, patch 10.1 is planned to be the final cleansing of the Emerald Dream, and in the story, the Scarlet Crusade joins with Turalyon and Yrel. 10.2 will be the fight against the Scarlet Crusade, and this is when Yrel loses a grip on Turalyon. 10.3 will be the fight for Stormwood, with Yrel as the penultimate boss. Alternate Zera is the last boss. Yeah. Wait, alternate Zera? Oh, come on, dude. Sudden AU interference. That's alright. Salamanca is a city in Spain. They're only torn if they're from Mulgore. Okay, so I guess there's that. There's the Tonka and all them. She's also Ysera's daughter that we help in Ardenweald. Really? For real? I don't remember that at all. I don't remember no one that we helped in Ardenweald. Holy cow. Or else they're just called sparkling cows. Ew. You're welcome, my turn. Okay. Oh, what the it's not a real... Bitch, you waste of time. Ooh. That's cardinal, dude. That is cardinal. At least say it's a fake leak, all right? You just wasted my time. I'm going to save squads for after the show, for after leak season. Dude, no. Don't do that. Hey, for next time, leakers, don't... That's messed up. That's super troll, man. That's super troll. Yeah, that's not cool. See, I told you it was fake. From the very first line. That's messed up, dude. That's hella messed up. I would have had a little bit more fun with this if they just straight up said it was fake, but no. Anyway, done being tilted, let's move on. World of Warcraft, Ashes of Galakaros. Hey. I don't work on Team 2, but I'm good friends with someone who does. Of course you are. Wow. What a good, I don't think you're going to be good friends with this person much longer. There are a few Blizzard announcements coming that are currently scheduled for February 18th, 10 days from now, by the way. These have been in the pipeline for a while, and were originally planned to be announced at BlizzCon 2022 before it got canceled. Announcements for Diablo and Hearthstone are also coming out, but won't be ready in February. That's nice. TLDR, I don't want the TLDR. I want to read shit. Yeah, TLDRs go at the bottom, dude. Okay. The first announcement is the Overwatch 2 close. Okay, I don't care about this. They'll be announcing 2 heroes. Mauga, a buff tank dude that dual wields Gatling guns, and Yako, a teenage ninja girl who is like another teenage ninja girl with giant shuriken and a pet fox spirit. Closed beta will start in late February, and a public PvE demo that is scheduled to run. Yeah, I don't know anything about, Overwatch 2 speculation, so I can't really say one way or another. Second is a new app called Warcraft Grimoire that'll be released this summer. This is not a game, but rather an intricate digital lore Bible that they want to be a living version of Chronicle. Which is funny because Warcraft lore already is living, as in it changes all the time. It's going to have some sort of way to earn an in-app currency, which you can also buy. Wait. It's going to have an in-app currency, but it's just a Bible. So why do you need to buy digital currency to spend on stuff? Oh, because this will be used to purchase ebooks directly from the app. That's... No, wait, what's the point of that? So the flow that I'm thinking here is there's an app that lets you buy, I guess, books from, directly from the Blizzard store, but there's already fucking BattleNet balance. So why have a thing that gives you credit for BattleNet balance that you could also, but why would you buy credit? I don't know. Like, if they stopped there, I would have been like, oh, that's cool. Neat. So I could, on ebooks, basically. And I would have been like, oh, that might be exciting. Maybe it'll include like extra pictures or concept art and blah, blah, blah. Now let's fuck it up by adding in something that seems more than just arbitrary. Because, you know, people love to use that word. I don't see a point. There are smarter solutions for this. Anyway, third is the next WoW expansion, which is called World of Warcraft, Ashes of Galakaros. As most have correctly guessed, it's based on the Dragon Isles concept, but it's also going to be deeply tied into Elune and the Realm of Life. Galakaros is the name. Oh, it's the name of the Dragon Isles, and it's an island chain on the opposite side of Azeroth, which they're calling the far side of Azeroth. Riveting. It sounds kind of weird, but my friend says that they were inspired by the Galapagos Islands with lots of wildlife that evolved in complete isolation. Most of the stuff on the island is draconic, but only Galakron and his brood were strong enough to get through the storm surrounding the island many, many moons ago, I guess, which allowed them to come and go from ancient Kalimdor. It's based on primordial Azeroth with lots of active volcanoes and rampaging elementals, and is visually meant to be a sort of anti-Northrend. Also has some Black Empire ruins, ancient temples for each of the 5 Dragonflights, and an old facility where life on Azeroth first evolved. What has me thrown off a little bit is that there are ancient temples for each of the 5 Dragonflights, but you have lots of wildlife that evolved in complete isolation. But you have ancient temples for each of the 5 Dragonflights. So how do you have wildlife that evolved in complete isolation when it's been exposed to each of the 5 Dragonflights? So, a little sus. They're keeping a version of the Covenant Renown system called Accords. Cute. But based on the feedback for Covenants, they're stripping them way back. I lost my line. They're stripping them way back and making pretty much everything optional and cosmetic, which is cool. Towards the end of the leveling experience, you'll get empowered by Elune during an eclipse and become Dragonsworn. Is that copyrighted or something like that? Is there a trademark behind that? Which will give you a movement ability and unique active ability for each specialization. A unique active for each spec. But this time around, there's no hard choice to make. Instead, which of the 5 Accords you join simply changes the way your Dragonsworn abilities look, your Accord campaign, and the cosmetic rewards that you get. After completing 1 Accord campaign, you can do the campaigns for the other 4, but some of the rewards will be restricted. Okay, so everyone's gonna have a unique ability, but then the look of it changes depending on the covenant that you sign up with. Something like that. Okay. Cool. There's also going to be a new hero class, the Tinker Blockchain, which my friend says is an idea that they've always wanted to do and has been the most requested class by far since the Demon Hunter. Which is... It's true, but at the same time, like I don't know. It's less tied to the Dragon Isles and more to this new endgame concept called the Living World, which I'll explain later. The Tinker will have a tank, healer, and a DPS specs, and will utilize a special backpack using the new back cosmetic slot. Think Gazlo in HOTS. A special backpack. You know, I remember I made a video long ago where I did make a Tinker concept that used a special backpack. I'll read the rest in a second. That used a special sort of backpack. But he also had like a pet, like an ogre pet. And I don't know why I had the ogre pet. I just had that in there. But yeah, he had a backpack that transformed and like did some shit. So let's see what this person has. Basically, you'll have these mechanized gizmos and gadgets that'll pop out of your backpack for different ability animations, and they'll have a bunch of different cosmetic backpacks that you can earn that will be exclusive to the Tinker class. The DPS spec will be able to turn their backpack into a robotic companion, like a hunter. The healing spec will be able to turn it into a medical drone, which is a non-combat pet, and the tanking spec will be able to turn it into a mech suit. Yeah, this is I mean, a lot of these are familiar with other Tinker suggestions, and that's all he says. Nice tease, man. The story is going to involve Galakaros, who was dead, and Elune, and will delve into the connections between the Shadowlands and the Realm of Life, and the origins of life on Azeroth. Fuck. I guess there's the whole cosmic theme, and then there's this, you know, higher being sort of thing, and I'm not too fond of it. Anyway, I think it's just hard for us to get away from that at this point. Patch concepts are still early in development, but one idea they're kicking around is having players travel to the moon, which would actually be an old facility housing the landmass that used to be where the Well of Eternity is. What? Oh, okay. So somehow during the Sundering, the landmass that was the Well of Eternity was yeeted out, yanked out, and put onto the moon. But the Maelstrom, which is the source of, you know, the Sundering and all that, is still there. And the dead husk of Yasiraj is there. Okay. The Black Empire cultists stranded on Galakaros will be trying to revive him. It would be deeply connected to Elune and her role in helping the Titans sort out primordial Azeroth. This is turning out to be one of those leaks where everything sounds cool, but they're revealing so much that no one should really know all this information. But it's still fun. Let's move on. Aside from all that, they're making a big push for something they're calling the Living World, which they've actually already started implementing in the live game. This comes from a big list of things that players and developers have been suggesting that kept getting shot down by some of the senior developers until fairly recently. Nice turn towards the more recent controversy. You may have noticed them adding weather effects to some of the old zones. That's part of it. Another part is opening up cross-faction play. They eventually want to expand that out to include world content and guilds. That's very plausible. Possibly with ways for players to gain reputation with the opposite faction and learn languages. The way that I've always understood it, the language barriers were an entire like they look roleplay, but they're entirely gameplay related. So that way players aren't just talking shit to each other all the time. But as for learning languages, to me that's a lot of bullshit, because we as champions, we talk with all sorts of ilk, all sorts of different races, and we know exactly what they're saying already. Yeah, so I know it is kind of a disconnect, because players from the opposite faction can't talk to each other, but NPCs from the opposite faction are totally fair game. It's kind of dumb, but oh well. The basic idea is that they're going to start revamping old world zones, but as part of a new persistent open world endgame experience, with world quests, reputations, treasures rares, and tons of stuff to collect. It'll have its own living campaign called the Azeroth campaign, starting with Darkshore and Arathi Highlands based on the BFA versions, but pushing the story forward, as well as Tanaris. This is going to run parallel to the plot of the current expansion. New zones will be added to the living world as they complete them, basically replacing the Patch Island concept that they've always done in the past. New zones will be added to the living world as they complete them, replacing the Patch Island. I don't get that. This is going to be a long-term project that is going to span multiple patches and expansions. Zones that aren't yet revamped will be shrouded in the fog of war, but they want to eventually complete the entirety of the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. This person sounds confident, but I'm not quite getting what they're talking about. Let's read on though. This is where the new hero class comes in. The Tinker isn't really connected to the Dragon Isles apart from the Bronze Dragonflight's Rust Scale Accord. but are rather meant to tie into the living world concept. They'll start at level 10 in the Revamp Gadget Stand, which is loosely inspired by the Gadget Stand expansion in Hearthstone. This will be part of the Tanoris Revamp, which will be the first big zone revamp for the living world, and they intend to have it ready and playable in the 10.0 pre-patch along with the hero class. It'll include a revamp of the Cavern of Time, which will be the new central hub for all the Chromie Time stuff, as they want to fully separate the living world from the time-walking campaigns. I'm getting even more confused. The story for Gadgetan involves turning Thousand Needles into a canal that will connect the Great Sea and Veiled Seas, so they won't have to sail around Kalimdor to get to the far side of Azeroth where Galakaros is. After the Tanaris update, the Azeroth campaign is going to start with an emphasis on Darkshore and Arathi Highlands, and will gradually build up to the Night Elves rebuilding Hyjal and Kalia cleansing the ruins of Lordaeron. This will also involve Bane attempting to repair relations between the Tauren and the Night Elves, and Anduin going on a self-imposed exile in Lordaeron. I've got one more thing to share, but I'm running out of room for this post. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Friend sent me this draft press release earlier. I had to edit the links. So he made a fake release too? Set out for adventure on the far side of Azeroth in World of Warcraft Ashes of Galakaros. Players will set forth upon the shores of Galakaros, the fabled Dragon Isles, and embrace the power of a Dragonsworn to help the aspects reclaim their ancestral homeland. Oh, now we know this. You didn't mention anything about the aspects reclaiming their ancestral homeland. Okay. Construct creative contraptions as the next hero class, the Wily Tinker, while you journey through an ever-changing Azeroth in the living world. Why are there... This is the nitpick. Why are there no periods after that? Are other press releases... Do they not have that? Anyway. Oh, how cute. They're dating it. He dated it too. As forces from across the cosmos focus their gaze on Azeroth following the reality-altering demise of Zoval, the mighty dragon aspects gather to petition the wary leaders of the Horde and Alliance for aid in a monumental task. This actually, reading this sounds like good Blizzard speak. Today, Blizzard Entertainment has proudly announced World of Warcraft, Ashes of Galakaros, the latest expansion for its acclaimed massively, which will see players setting forth on an epic adventure to uncover the origins of dragonkind, and perhaps the origins of life itself. Accompanied by representatives of the 5 Dragonflights, World of Warcraft players. World of Warcraft players? Adventurers? Yeah. Good start here. This throws me off. World of Warcraft players will travel to Galakaros, an archipelago of volcanic islands located on the far side of Azeroth, and is the ancestral homeland of dragonkind. Surrounded by turbulent seas and stormy skies, the Dragon Isles are a shattered remnant of primordial Azeroth, untamed, inhospitable, and hiding countless secrets. Under a conjunction of Azeroth's 2 moons, they will become Dragonsworn, pledging their fealty to one of the 5 Accords that will execute the will of the aspects, like the Black Talon. Loyal agents under the direct command of Rathian, son of Deathwing and heir to the Black Dragonflight, the Azurwing, an ancient brood that has recently offered their wisdom to Kaligos, the new aspect of the Blue Flight, the Rust Scale, recently returned Watchers, once thought lost to time, reporting to Nozdormu the aspect of the Blue Dragonflight, the Ruby Mob, fierce guardians of life, personally selected by Alex Strauza, aspect of the Red Dragonflight, and the Vert Claw, dreamers, awakened by the death of Ysera to guide her daughter Merithra, heir to the Green Dragonflight. Jargon. TBD pre-purchase. No. They would know that immediately. Yeah, they would. Yeah, I don't know. I think this would immediately mention the 3, probably the 3 tiers: heroic, mythic, blah blah blah, and at least mention that. So that kind of that kind of messes with things. Yeah, and then having some of these is kind of dumb. Okay, not dumb, but nice try. Yeah, this definitely feels like one of those things that are like so high effort. Yeah, it's very, very high effort, but it reveals so much information that it kind of messes with the credibility. If this was it, if this was the post and this is all there was, I think this would be like a bit more interesting, because it tells us not very much. It's just like, okay, here's the marketing person who set this up. It got leaked. My friend is no longer my friend because I leaked this, and he got his ass fired. But here we go, guys. But this press release is pretty well written. It uses certain language and tone that's very convincing, I think. It works. Yeah, so this is actually pretty good. It's a good story. It's super fake. But yeah, how are you gonna say BlizzCon leaks but then not talk about Diablo? Yeah, not talk about Diablo, or yeah, well, they mentioned a WoW mobile thing, but yeah, just Overwatch and WoW. That's kind of weird to not talk about. Yeah, they're coming, but they won't be. Yeah, this person would know. They would try to leak that too if they wanted to. If they wanted to get into that. Anyway, this is good. This is like an easy. This is like a 5. It's a 5, baby. Let's move on. Leak. World of Warcraft. Enter the Dragon Isles. I'm no longer a dev after this week, so here goes nothing. I never want to work in this town again, so here goes nothing. World of Warcraft. Enter the Dragon Isles. It's a weird title. Shadowlands ending. It's upon defeating the jailer that a cinematic follows. That's plausible. In it, you'll witness the heroes of Azeroth and company using the sepulchre of the first ones to bring about an end towards the jailer. Anduin is out of the picture, recovering still from being under the influence of the jailer. There'll be a few subtle changes about his physical appearance, such as pale white hair remaining still. But we haven't seen any of that in 9.2. So now we see stuff? Sylvanas meets her promise by partially righting the wrongs she had committed by partnering herself up with the jailer, helping free Anduin naturally and bringing about an end towards the jailer's plans. It's thereafter she submits herself to the judgment of Tyrande. She decides she should be left behind in the Shadowlands in the hands of the new Arbiter who, spoiler, really? Cheeky. Who puts her in Revendreth. So no Nathanos at all. Gotcha. Okay. I think they forgot about something. The Dragon Isles. Returning to Azeroth, we find that the actions of the jailer left another open wound on Azeroth. We find out that the world soul is dying through Rathian and Magni, and if we don't act fast, we'll soon find ourselves without a home. Rathian believes the Dragon Isles may hold some answers as to how we can prevent all of this and heal Azeroth, but he needs the hero's help to find it. From here on out, you'll find that the theme of the expansion is Azeroth and the world soul. So the small problem that I have with this is that, so it's up to Rathian to save everything. Not the Titan Keepers, not the Earthen Ring, not the Dragonflights themselves who have come forward. Nah, just one guy, Dragon. One guy is pivotal to this because without him, no one else would care. Right. Features. Azeroth Reforged. Oh, that's trauma. There will be another update of the old world extending as far as Pandaria and Northrend as well. You'll have a round of new quests able to do from 1 through 50 through Chromie Time, telling you new stories around different zones and what's going on. That's kind of neat. That would be kind of neat and would inject a little bit of life into like the whole re-leveling experience. to have like an entirely separate 1 through 50 campaign that is tailored specifically for that. That'll have you jumping around. That actually sounds kind of cool. Player housing, blockchain. Since the theme of the expansion is rebuilding and mending Azeroth, it's now a great time to introduce this feature. Players will have access to their own phase in a place of their choice outside of or near faction cities such as Elwyn, Ashenvale, Durishar, Eversong Forest, and more. I'd like to know about more. Professions will be able to craft different types of furniture and decorations for your homes. He used an exclamation mark. Homes! So, there's no new level cap. You're brought down to 50 and Shadowlands is introduced into time walking. You're then able to level up from 50 to 60 once more in the Dragon Isles. That is actually something I'm very, very curious about as for what they're going to do in future WoW expansions. Are they going to constantly squish us every expansion? And in that sense, the numbers will always, have this kind of circular loop to them, this sort of familiarity. I think that would be very disconnecting for some people, but other people would absolutely love it because of the consistency. But that's just an opinion. I do find that to be. I remember I theorized that a long time ago. Like, what's going to happen when Shadowlands is introduced into, like, is it going to be the 1 through 50 experience, or is it going to be like you do the Chromie time 1 through 50, and then you do like 10 levels in Shadowlands, and then you do 10 levels there? Or are they going to make it, 1 through, or are they going to do like a 1 through 60 experience? And are they just going to adjust the numbers? I don't know. It could be anything right now. Anyway, new class, Dragonswark. You guys are killing me on the lack of originality here. This is a hybrid class, being able to tank, heal, and DPS. Healing will be themed around the red and the green Dragonflight. Tanking is the black Dragonflight. DPS specs will have the blondes Dragonflights. Like, OMG, dragons. The bronze and blue Dragonflight. There'll be extra customizations for these classes, like the Demon Hunters, where you'll be able to place draconic horns on your characters and scales. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Different horns. Okay. There'll be 8 new dungeons. Wait. I'm still back on this again. You'll be able to place draconic horns on your characters and scales. So, is it a new class or a new race? Or does the race that you choose suddenly have scales on them, and you can customize your skin tone? I don't know. Anyway, there's going to be 8 new dungeons. One in particular has us encountering Xal'atath again. There'll be certain lore implications surrounding the Void and other old gods revealed within it as we chase after her through it. So how are you going to tell me about 8 dungeons, but not tell me what they are? You know this, leaker. If you know that there's 8, you know what they are, but maybe not. New raid challenge of the aspects. It's during this dire time the dragon aspects are needed once more, but with the cataclysm, their power and more had been taken from them. There'll be at one point in the raid where you're shown a vision of a moment in the past where they were initially blessed by the Titans, Aenar, Aman'Thul, Khaz'goroth, and Norgannon, to then be brought together to fight against Galakaros. Your role in this will be as one of the dragons, taking some inspiration from the past dungeon Eye of Eternity. That's gonna go great. Leading on further into this raid, Rathian finds another means to restore the aspect's power. You'll find a lot of void-related entities and cultists lurking about the area seeking the same thing, looking to bring about the resurrection of N'Zoth. Of course, N'Zoth. Let's get to 3. Definitely no longer a dev after this week. Moving on. Tenno. Oh, this is a short one. Tenno. The logo is real, although taken from a screenshot. Logo? What? What logo? Yoo-hoo. The logo is real. The fuck? Nope. Okay. Well, there goes that. The main enemy is the Twilight Dragonflight, who are attempting to create the ultimate Dragonflight by sirens, by conquering all others. The dead old gods and void lords are in the background, although not featured directly. Other dragon-based enemies from past expansions like the Infinite Dragonflight, which are like pretty much the only ones, kind of, sort of. They'll be seated in the main story and pop up in patches, as the expansion is very much Dragon's greatest hits. Cheeky. Rathian is in opposition to the Twilights and is attempting to have the Black Dragonflight regain its ancient role and heal Azeroth. This will be resolved at the end of the expansion. Set in the Dragon Isles, which contains some old Dragonflights that predate the dominance of the 5 others. Okay. Very much a high fantasy setting with lots of color and different ecosystems, but grounded in core Azeroth fantasy. We'll revisit and expand a lot of early Azeroth and dragon lore. The other Dragonflights are along for the ride and will regain their sense of purpose and unite with the old Dragonflights along with Rathian. Ysera will pop up. Woo, look at me! What is Ysera now? Is she kind of like a wild god? Can she like descend down into Azeroth, get killed, and be like, oh darn, respawn? Is that how that works now? I haven't explored that, so y'all can probably correct me there. No world revamp and no new classes or races. However, all classes will become available to all races with a big focus on cosmetics and reinforcing class race fantasy in other ways. Some could argue that making all classes available to all races fucks up class and race fantasy, but that's an argument. Some old areas, like the wetlands and Dragonflight, will be visited and visually updated in patches. BFA will remain the main leveling expansion, and Shadowlands will be moved to Chromie time, but there are plans to expand on the new player-friendly approach taken with Exile's Reach. Big revamp of professions and focus on new cosmetic or lore-based time sync systems not tied to player power. I don't know much about how player power will be handled, but it's meant to be a back to basics expansion with simpler but robust progression systems you'll want to play because the core grind and gameplay loop is good, but you're not telling me anything. So we get like a little bit of a story and like that's it. You might as well tell me nothing. Based on what this person has, based on what this person knows, you might as well just say nothing, because they're asserting that they know things, but they're not being specific. So it's like, why even bother? This one gets a 1.75. I'm not going. There's like so many leaks. I gotta decide on a scale. Okay, moving on. What I know internally about professions in 10.0. That's the worst title already. Here's what I know about the next expansion. Internally, it's called Chestnut. I'm not familiar with like the internal names and stuff. I mean, the high profile one that we know is Titan, right? Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows off the top of their head like what are like some of the internal names that are given to games or expansions and stuff like that. But at least this person tried with a code name. I don't know if they're based on certain things, but anyway, Dragon Isles, sort of. It's mostly one big. I thought this was about professions. Dragon Isles, sort of. It's mostly one big landmass, split into 3 zones and regions. One additional island as a separate zone, and one that is split into many small islands. Okay, so, and none of them are in the sky. I mostly know about professions, so here goes. Player housing blockchain is sort of coming. Oh, great. It's not the big expansion feature or borrowed power, but it's a soft launching. Stormwind and Orgrimmar is where you first get your house. You get at level 30, might be earlier. So it's like okay, so it's going to be like an evergreen sort of dealy, maybe. New profession that is basically chopping wood. The team is basically retconning trees into every expansion in certain zones. So Grizzly Hills, but not Icecrown, Zangamarsh, but not Hellfire. I mean, Grizzly Hills has trees, but I guess I'm thinking like Grizzly Hills has trees, obviously. But you think of like Warlords, and you had the mill, the sawmill or whatever. And I'm trying to remember this well enough. You go to Nagrand, you go to these other zones, but then you see like these baby trees. So it's like, those are your trees. Those are the ones that you chop down because you summon a goblin shredder and they come and get that shit. So I'm guessing they're planting a bunch of those like all over the place. So like big, you know, so instead of chopping down those big ass mushrooms, there's like baby mushrooms that you chop down. What would be other trees? What would be like Shadowlands trees? Well, anyway. There's a special gathering profession slot now. So a character can have two primary professions, one gathering profession, and all the okay. So I had the idea of, hey, give everyone the ability to gather straight up, but being able to at least choose one gathering profession that is like your favorite or whatever, or the one that makes the most money, that's cool too. So at least you have more profession-y stuff. I'd still rather have like, hey, let's just gather everything and all that, but then that would do weird things to the economy, I think. I only got an early look via video how housing actually works. Think of the garrison menu screen. Okay, here we go. You think of the garrison menu screen where you select a building, or in this case, a room, then you select a wall and you decide what to place there. So, okay, so it kind of feels like one of the, like a console game that would do it, or how a console game would do it, where you select a piece of thing and then you decide what goes there. Tables and chairs were a pain in the ass because of the huge variance in character models. Chairs. Tons of people are working on making the experience feel good for every race. When sitting on a chair, no one should be sinking into it, because hella people are, except for humans, because the game is racist. What does a Tauren sleep on as opposed to the floor? What does a Tauren sleep on as opposed to a Draenei? Draenel? To a Draenei, a Goblin, or a Vulpera. Placing items... they sleep on beds. Oh, I guess it's like different sized beds or something like that. Just make bigger beds. Placing items is sort of restrictive. You choose a table, and then you choose chairs, and their placement is fixed. Oh, so you can't... So, kind of confusing, but you choose the table, boom, there's your table, and then, like, I guess the placement of these things are on a template. So you choose the chairs... And I don't know if you can see what I would want to have, like, let's say you have like a long table, right? And then you have a bunch of chairs. I hope it's not like, hey, you can, you choose each. I would like it if you could choose each individual chair to be whatever you want, or, as opposed to like, hey, here's a theme, and then you choose a theme. All professions will be involved, but too hard to make stuff for every single expansion, at least at launch, I hope. Basic furniture will be available in all expansions, but the focus is on 10.0 content to keep players in new areas. Patches will release packs that come from different expansions, like, hey look, it's the Molten Core / BWL furniture set, or something like that. It might be a It might be a premium offering too, because of how they could be packaged. The plan is to drip release with patches. So for your 6-month subscription, you can get this bitch ass mount and a rug that is based on this bitch ass mount if you skinned it and turned it into a rug. Or it's $20. All professions will be in... Oh no, I got that part. Recipes will come from all over. Old rep vendors, achievements, dungeon and raid bosses. Some professions can craft recipes too. So like scribes. Wait, how does that work? So scribes are going to learn something and then write it down, and then boom, I crafted a recipe. Oh well. Getting furniture and decorations will feel like collection will feel like collecting transmog. You make a table and you learn it. You make a chair and learn one chair. If you want to have 2 chairs, you make another chair and you learn it again. It's also account wide, yes, but there will be some race restrictions, like Tauren don't have a bed yet. That kind of, what if I want to be like, what if I'm a human though? And I'm a fucking hippie, right? And I'm like, dudes, man, let's go. You know, we don't sleep on the beds, man. That's like bad energy. We sleep on the floor. So hopefully they just have like a sleeping bag for humans or whatnot. But, you know, maybe this special Tauren skin bed thing, it's exclusive to them. But I hope that they have like equivalents. But you won't be grinding away to make 3 or 4 beds per character unless you want different bed types. So I hope that, you know, if this does come, that they do treat it like a collection system where you just have, you know, you unlock it, and then throughout all your characters, when it's their time to build a house, they'll have a bunch of stuff to start with, and you're not starting from scratch or otherwise refarming for the same stuff again and again. Furniture models are being made from scratch, are different from doodads. New art style is being used to make them easy to recolor. Ooh. So dye system was mentioned, which kind of makes sense because you're gonna have like, you know, 11 different chair colors and shit because money. But I don't think it's being planned for 10.0. It likely won't be retroactive either. So a dye system was mentioned for furniture or like armor, because if it won't be retroactive, that won't make sense for furniture because it's coming like now. So I think this is with reference to gear. Environments are still being worked out. Definitely going to be in Stormwind, and Orgrimmar will later release locations for vanilla. Going to be a wait and see approach before doing new locations. But I want to be in August now, guys. Here's the bummer. No guild hall planned. Womp womp. Basically, everyone would want a guild hall, which defeats the purpose, which kind of makes sense. Instead, players can make a house with a loadout that is more guild-centric if players want. But what if I just want to... there's discussion on letting players make an alliance of houses, like a village or a neighborhood, but nothing solid. So this would be cooler than... This would maybe be cooler than guild halls. Because imagine, like... I know I talked shit about it before, like, oh, what if you have an HOA? Haha, that'd be funny. But what if you did have like a group, you know, a group of dudes and dudettes that wanted to make like a certain theme, right? Let's have a certain theme, and then we'll call it like this village or whatever, and then people can come in and hang out and party and get drunk and have sex and all that stuff, you know. Depending on how many people you can have, let's make it. It's called New Goldshire. New Goldshire, where it's just house after house of debauchery, different themes, different themes and different deviants that inhabit it, and then you go in and do things. But there's so much. I think there's a lot of things you can do with some. Like, it'd be cool. You can have like a set piece for like role players, right? Where people progress from place to place, and then it has like so there could be some cool stuff with that. But yeah, having no guild hall, that's kind of a bummer. The 9.0 philosophy, Covenant and Sanctum, cosmetics, and the grind is being applied to professions. Professions will be able to make tons of stuff. Instead of anima, it's gathering materials, and everyone, and everyone can have a gathering profession now. So see, that's weird. So it's like, if the grind is, I should read the rest. The intent is to have lots of people out farming and exchange for gold. Very player-driven progression. Yeah, so I guess that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's not, anima is a very NPC thing, but it looks like, at least with all the things that you'll be able to craft, and it looks like you know, most of the stuff might be cosmetic, and some of them, you know, will be player power too. it's gonna be like, yeah, it's weird. It's gonna be like the player economy that drives a lot. Yeah, it's weird. Mention of a paper airplane mount. No idea if it's got to be a scribe thing. I wonder if it's gonna literally look like a that sort of. Oh, that'd be hilarious. They're considering ways to motivate players to gather and participate. Collect 50 ore for Valor points or to re-roll the Great Vault. Only ideas at the moment. So how would that work? Like, would you want to exchange ore? Exchange resources for Valor? Or is it more like, hey, gather this ore and then you know how there are some quests where instead of, hey, possess this ore and then you can turn it in, as opposed to, no, you have to go through the motions of gathering these things to actually get them when they're present, and then you can get credit for the quest. But would you turn in, because it would suck if, like, what would I rather do? Would I rather turn in the ore for Valor, or would I rather just keep that shit so I can make stuff? So anyway, crafters can make weapons again. The scheme will follow a similar formula to Shadowlands. I'm totally losing it here. Crafters can make weapons again, which is great. The scheme will follow a similar formula to Shadowlands with crafters' marks. Okay. Crafting ranks that were in Shadowlands Legendaries are back will be applied to all max level crafts to deliver a sense of progression, hopefully minus ash and cinders and stuff. Crafters will get a personal mark for themselves to have 1 or 2 mythic level crafts, not weapon, because that's all the people would make. There's a ton more on professions, but this is all I got clued in or have worked on. So this isn't bad. This one, I guess I'll give it like a 3, because it's very specialized. This person doesn't even pretend that they know anything about anything except, hey, I know the zone, but then everything else was like professions. So yeah, some of this is like, kind of off the wall, but yeah, not bad. Next, Tusken Tide. Are you going to tell me it's fake? Okay. They're not immediately saying it's fake, so here we go. Expansion announcement to be made simultaneously with 9.2 release date in mid to late February. By the way, make your own carrot. Thank you for subscribing. Tusken's Tide story and features. 20 years have passed since the champions of Azeroth jumped into the Shadowlands. We return. Oh, see, fucked up. Super fake. Doesn't work. See, it's funny how you notice from reading these leaks how many of these people didn't even play all of Shadowlands. This is like elementary shit that you'd know if you just played the game. It's kind of sad seeing that some of these people are not, in fact, as passionate about World of Warcraft as they might think themselves to be. We return to find a world destroyed by a dogmatic Turalian who seeks to rid corruption from Azeroth and those who do not follow the light. Gang Greymane was executed by High Exarch Yrel due to his unwavering loyalty to Anduin. So this bitch died off screen, or at least he died like during this time jump. That's fucked up. Northrend has become a refuge for both the Horde and the Alliance, who have made a pact to defend the newly formed Tusken Empire in exchange to having guard the Shadowland Gate to ensure our return. New level cap 70. New neutral race, the Tusken. Not Tuskar, but Tusken. New capital, Tuskarian Peaks. Expansion is in Azeroth, so flying is available from the start. Boat housing. Alright. Boat housing. New profession is carpentry and lumberjack. No new leveling zones, and instead players will progress the story in the form of a new mode known as Territorial Dominance. Think Guild Wars 2. I haven't played enough of Guild Wars 2, man. Living stories, however, each major patch will unveil graphically updated old zones. The first of... Oh, is that the whole thing about Living World and Living This? Is it because of the Guild Wars 2 expansion coming out? And that we're seeing this sort of like... Oh... How uninspiring. Leak writers? Sheesh. The first of 5 patches will take our champions to reclaiming both Northern Kalimdor and Northern Eastern Kingdoms, which have been drastically altered by the lights, seeming like a whole new zone. The first part of the expansion will play out as a tug-of-war pushing Turalyon and Yrel back to Outland. Back to Outland? Back to Outland? As if they were there before? Neither of them were there before. I mean, Turalyon was there during Warcraft too, but that's it. Flying is only allowed in conquered territories. Light-occupied territories will kill the player after 10 seconds. That's a weird way of that's a weird way of restricting flight. It's like, get on your mounts. Rawr! Take off into the air for a second. It's kind of silly. That, and you can do a lot in 10 seconds, man. In 10 seconds, you can fly up into the air and then glide your way to victory. So, anyway. Getting to know the Tusken. Unlocking these lovable creatures will not be an easy task. Champions who have been absent from the struggles of everyday life will have to prove themselves worthy by running errands. Professions those fish won't catch themselves, quests, and setting up a naval yard for the upcoming territorial dominance. Be prepared to defend Tuscarian peaks from the light as they attempt to breach our shorelines. God. Territorial dominance. Once a naval yard has been built, players will have access to player housing in the form of customizable ships. Players will use their crafted ship as both the transportation device to reach enemy shores and personal housing. These ships can be unlocked to increase its size, holla, and storage. Guild leaders may purchase a dreadnought to serve as a guild hall. Hey, at least this guy got a guild hall in there. To launch guild missions with the theater of war. Guild dreadnoughts will allow players to choose any dungeons from a list, including its difficulty. This feature will give players an incentive to join guilds and work towards achieving common goals, which does sound kind of cool. Although again, like, you know, what if everyone wants to be the captain or whatever of their own dreadnought? So, once regions have been conquered, new regions per patch, players will unlock a new harbor to customize their ships. There will be many ships, but this one is yours. Show off your interior skills by taking up both the lumberjack and the carpentry professions. Like the goblins of old, players will go out into the forest and collect the resources required to make a fancy table or a bar for the next guild hangout, or sell them on the market. No, like the goblins of old, they're gonna hire muscle to do this shit for them, buddy. Future blueprints can drop from bosses in old dungeons, raids, and in some other hidden ways. The war awaits ... Ugh, a load 2. This is Tusken Tide. Please. Nice and short. Expansion 10.0 leaked. DragonCity. You know, the fact that it's one word, it totally sounds like a mobile game. Totally sounds like a mobile game. Just a few words. Expansion will be focusing on a dragon city. We are tasked to build with the dragons a city to defend the world from invading cosmic forces. New system will be like SimCity 4. The fuck? We could build a whole city with dragons, with buildings on the Dragon Isles. This dude needs a space bar. Dragon City. Dragon Isles. Players will finally be able to create their own homes. There will be a new class, the Dragon Binder. That's different. The class will be magic and around summoning dragons. Doesn't even deserve a rating. Oh, another shorty. 10.0. 10X, the Ascent of the Dragons. I can't post links. Today I arrived and was unfairly fired. Arrived what? Arrived at your desk in your house? So let me tell you a little bit. I was unfairly fired, so here I am. I'm gonna leak shit. The expansion announced in February. It arrives in November, the week of the birthday. Anniversary, buddy. Anniversary. Rathian. Rathian is an important character. There will be no new classes or races. A 4th spec will arrive. There's a lot of cool stuff. Several new race customizations. The story revolves around returning the power of the dragons. Kalik will die for this. Wow. that's an odd detail. You know, vague. Oh, Calic will die for returning the power of the dragons. There will be a time jump. Goblins can be monks. Paladin night elves. Tyrellian and Greymane will be villains. That's right, there's no goblin monks, right? Yeah. Another doesn't deserve a rating. Holy moly, dude. There was something here earlier. Oh, there's like an image, right? Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, this one made the rounds. This one made the rounds over on Twitter and social media. But there was also another content creator. I think it was Jen and Eric. There was a couple of content creators that like totally dismantled this particular image. I'm not gonna bother looking for the tweet. But like the dragons, like these dragons here, this was taken from Hearthstone. They extracted some of those models and they just kind of put them in there. Some of these are like old stuff. The metal scratch frame here is a pull from BFA, and the font is basic bitch font. This is the Burning Wrath font. And as far as I recall, Blizzard has not used that font since the Burning Crusade. After that, they started using their own, they customized kind of their own font, and they've been using that ever since. So there are some small variations. This to me, this is the big giveaway. That's not how that works. It uses a different sort of typesetting and all that. But yeah, the scales these content creators found, they were from just a Google search. Just search for it, and then you can just scan that in. And yeah, this was like, nice try. I just like talking shit about, dude, you're taking a picture of your screen at home. Although, it's plausible to say that, if someone was trying to leak from a work from home situation, you're probably going to be paranoid enough that you would take a picture of your screen, because you don't want to just use software like GreenShot or whatever to like just take to just pull a screenshot, because if you're working from home, then that means you're on a secure thing, and that means chances are all of your actions are keylogged and all that stuff. So another 10.0 info. Have only some details from demo. There is no demo. Demos imply that they are for, the somewhat general public. Dragon Isles. We're rise to the sky. Yeah! Dragon Isles in the sky. Okay. We got one. Isles in the sky. Locations include Volpera's homeland. What? Wait. Maybe I don't know my Volpera history, but what? Much sand. Very exciting. Hub is a village around giant Titan-forged head. More Volpera lore. I think this person is a Volpera fan. Local Volpera are more smart, using Titan trash to survive among primal wildlife such as sand protodrakes. One of the NPCs will serve as our guide through location and raid as well. Tinkers, blockchain, unique quest chain about expedition to Titan Vault. Goblin and Gnome from Golden's book are quests NPCs. After intro, player is sent to Isles to learn another Titan secrets, available to all races. DPS is ranged with some cast, mostly nature damage, uses guns, yep. Tank uses arcane magic to create shields. That's kind of cool. Very clunky. Defensive skills cause overheat with self-damage. Shield. Healer reminds Shaman. Throws potions as HOTS and AoE heals. First raid is... Can you tell that I'm getting a little tired of this shit? First raid is a Titan facility where dragons were infused. Rathian and Volpera are there as friendly NPCs. Bosses are Titan Guardian, Protodrake Zoo, Disposal Room, and Placeholders. I love this. I hate sand. It's coarse and it's rough and irritating and it gets everywhere. Oh, it's delicious. This is from the for Lily and Friends Alpha. Right. Next expansion is going to be named, Explosion of Dragons. Porn. Dragon Isles. Dragon Isles visible after the jailer disturbs its magic shroud that was hiding the Dragon Isles due to its attacks on Azeroth. What a trope, man. I hope it's not like that. I hope it's not like, oh, the cloaking device was disabled, man, and now like there it is. That's kind of cheese. I would love to see, like, you know, the Dragon Isles were floating in the sky, and then they crash, and you know, one of the zones is like full of like old Legion ships that were like, and the dragons are like, who live there, they're like, yeah, the Legion tried to come by and they were trying to fuck around, and then they found out. That'd be pretty awesome. If we saw like just like Legion ruins, like everyone just got fucked by the dragons there. Anyway, new race, Dragonkin, Tinker, blockchain, new class, damage healer, and tank. Story, lots of line breaks. After the attacks on Azeroth, the Dragon Isles lost the magic shroud that were hiding the Isles from mortals, of course. We have to help the dragons against the Scourge. Run crazy on Azeroth to beat them back. After destroying the Helm of Domination, the Scourge is unchecked. We will learn that Bolvar, as Lich King, has made hidden experiments with the Scourge. The Scourge gonna be a real big threat without a Lich King, reaching even the Dragon Isles. There'll be an explosion. Oh, here's the explosion caused by the jailer from his attacks that will awaken the dragons. So, if you're making these leaks, at least check some shit out on the PTR, because some of the stuff feels kind of contradictory. So, yeah. Bad. Did I give? No, I haven't given these ratings because these are just awful. World of Warcraft, Dragonflight. TLDR, don't care. I don't want a TLDR. Rewards from Shadowlands just get scaled down. Everything in 10.0 is max level content with no level squish, so there is no need to level if you already have max level characters. Progression is just wait. So there's no leveling? Is that it? Dragon Isles. Technically, it's its own continent, though it's just one zone split into multiple maps. Floating islands between the Broken Isles and Northrend. Oh, that sucks. Damn. I would not like this. I really miss having like a big landmass. One of my favorite things in WoW is when you're on top of Dalaran, when you're on the flight deck and all that, or you know, you're hovering around the area, and then you can see most of the Broken Isles like right there. I love that. I love being able to see like that is your domain. There are many mobs and things to farm for there. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cool. Having it all separate feels a little bit like a disconnect. I mean, they try, but whatever. Lordaeron, revamped Tirisfal and Plaguelands, a Scarlet and Light focus, Quel'Thalas, a revamped Eversong and Ghostlands. Silvermoon is a hostile city like Suramar. How the fuck's gonna be hostile? Undermine, city zone beneath Kazan. Criminals and Uncrowned story, fully underground. Balor, a halfling race dealing with primordial fell enemies. Think proto-demons, like what the Shadowlands creatures are to undead. Okay. Uldaz, a second fully underground zone ever on Azeroth. Titan and Elune story here. Dragon Knight. Wait, how many fucking classes are there? Dragon Knight, only one tank spec, uses two-handed weapons, fire, plate armor, and shouts. Tinker class. Only one damage dealer spec, uses guns, mail armor, gadgets, and mech suits. A minstrel class, a healer spec, uses leather, lutes, violins, and pan flutes. And a chronomancer class, a healer spec, uses cloth, time magic, and sand magic. Dark Ranger skin for hunters with dark spell effects, tames undead instead of animals. Necromancer skin for warlocks. Plagues instead of curses. Summons undead instead of demons. Wait, so is there a Death Knight? Wait, there's no... Come on, if they're going to have a Necromancer skin for warlocks, they need to have a demon skin for Death Knights, right? Only makes sense. Nightmare skin for druids. Corrupted spell effects and animal forms can unlock wildly different forms like snakes and spiders. Okay, that... I know all of this is bullshit, but this is especially bad because it's like, oh, really? They're gonna make a ton of different forms just for like that one skin? I don't know, man. Dragonsworn skin for shamans. Draconic spell effects and forms. Warden skin for demon hunters. Uses arcane and holy magic instead of fel. Oh shit, no paladin stuff? Yeah, this is whack. Continued Order Hall stories. Yeah, how are you gonna have continued Order Hall stories, but then not mention like all the classes? Punk ass. The only select few. I should have read the rest. Continued Order Hall stories. The only a select few, and you pick them like covenants, which is kind of fucked up. There are no gameplay differences between them, just different campaigns, mounts, mogs, and companions. The Silver Hand, the Uncrowned, the Kirin Tor, the Valazar, and the Black Harvest. You are not considered the leader of their order. Silver Hand, nothing that I see for paladins here. WTF. Expansion announcement February 28th. You know, it would have been good if they said February 29th just to just to be like, oh, got it. The announcement for the announcement. The announcement for the announcement. Nice. You know, this is plausible. This is very, very plausible. The idea of, hey guys, we're going to have an announcement in 2 weeks. Stay tuned. They did that for... Shucks. They did it the other year, and then Black Lives Matter happened. And then Blizzard was like, okay, we're going to hold off on that. We'll get back to you. Yada, yada, yada. The goal is to release Q1 2023. This one gets a... not quite a 2. Like a 1.9. Something like that. This one's just like, meh. There's some cool... There's some neat things here, but not too much. Okay, here was the TLDR. Main enemy is Chromatus, though lots of minor stories all about. 6 disconnected zones, 2 of them being revamped. Wait, TLD, you didn't even... Okay, maybe they did. Class skins, player housing, carpenter and logger professions, Dalaran, capital city. Yeah, the TLDR has stuff that wasn't even mentioned in the long form version. Come on, dude. All right, Blizzard Google account leaked presentation 10.0 announcement. I don't think it would be on Google, on their Google Drive, but an employee within Blizzard that shall remain nameless, obviously, accidentally published a presentation that is supposed to appear on stream either this or next week, and some information was recovered from it. Okay, unlike many people suspect, the expansion is in fact named the Crimson Dawn. It focuses on the aftermath of the Scourge's rampage across Azeroth and the return of the Scarlet Crusade. Features include new zones. The new zones are a remake of... Yeah, if this was gonna be like a... Hey, I know you're in the Shadowlands, but you didn't quite know that things are really bad over here on Azeroth, man. And nothing happens without us? Without the champion there? Nothing happens, really? I remember the Wrathgate, man. I remember the Wrathgate when shit hit the fan, and then a couple dragons, including Alexstrasza, came in and cleaned house hella fast. They're like, fuck this. You know, everything burned. Everything was done. Yeah, so that's a lot of BS. Features include new zones, because that's a feature. The new zones are a remake of Lordaeron. You can still go back to the old version of the zones by talking to a bronze dragon in the respective zones. The Alliance and Horde both share a capital city. The Underground is a revamped Undercity for the Horde. Above Ground is a revamped human city of Lordaeron. The city, oh, that's fucked up. Why y'all gotta live on the surface and the Horde are like fucking basement dwellers? Right, person who made this, obvious Alliance player. And again, this asserts that you know, there's a time skip and all that, and things have happened without us knowing, and that's just not true. Again, this is one of those instances where the person who made this didn't pay attention or didn't play through the story. And I'm not great at it either. I'm sure there's shit that I missed too, but that's, you know, that's kind of easy. The city has also been expanded from how it appears in-game right now. More cross-faction features. More cross-faction features are added, including cross-faction guilds and parties in the world. These parties do not function in war mode. Okay. The antagonists are the light. No, not the scourge, but that cause everyone to retreat, but the light. There's some presence of the void as well, but this is not a cosmic light versus void expansion. There is a conflict within the alliance that may culminate in a later patch antagonist. Okay, that I could see like long term. There's more of a focus on some casual features, including a feature they're naming Player Streets. There isn't a lot of information on this feature, but it seems to be some form of player housing with limited cosmetics. Player Streets. So like a strip. Hey guys, let's go to the Goldshire strip. Wow. Yeah, I can see that. The first raid is completely Scarlet themed and brings the player to a huge Suramar-like city, a bit like a Scarlet Borealis. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be cool to just fight people, you know, normal-sized people again. The devs have dropped some of the systems, but seem to be introducing a new talent row instead of an Azerite armor or Covenant system. That's all the info that was recovered from it. As if it's like, we recovered this Google hard drive from someone, and now we're doing our best to extract the data. It's like super fragmented, guys. Okay, let's hack into it. Here's the information that we recovered. It's like, come on, dude. It's either you got it or you don't, right? You're not gonna get, I imagine you're not gonna get like fragments of this shit. This was at least kind of fun. Player Streets, that had me going. This gets like a 2. All right, it barely squeaked by. Gets a 2. This leak season was definitely a quantity over quality sort of thing. EOA 10.0 leak. New race, Dragonkian. Unique starting zone, a floating island among the other Dragon Isles. Will later become a max level zone. It isn't like an allied race. It starts at level 1 and finishes the zone around level 15, where they can choose to become a part of the Alliance or Horde. You need to fight and learn from the other mortal races in order to help with restoring Azeroth. So it's a baby dragon, I guess? Can transform into any player race and has a unique magical transform animation. However, their combat form will always be the Dragonkin, kind of like how Worgen are. So I remember I talked smack about something that was similar to this, where if you can essentially be any race, then why wouldn't you become a dragonkin anyway? Apart from, I don't want to become a dragon person when I'm fighting. The races will receive unique dragon-like customization, such as copied Demon Hunter forms and new ones with some accessories on them. Special glowing eye colors, tattoos, and luminous hands like Nightborn scales on skin. Yeah, so again, like, the beef that I have with this is that, you know, people would be pretty pissed if you know, this Dragonkin race had all these customizations for existing races, but if you play as the existing race, you don't have those extra customizations. So there either needs to be a give and take, or you got to give it to everybody. Otherwise, you know, at least customization and customization wise, like, people would be like, oh, all of us are going to become dragons or whatever. New class, Dragon Swarm. Is this going to be part of the blockchain too? Uninspired, man. Uses male, blessed by the combined power. See, I'm going to eat crow when they do announce something, new class, Dragon Sword, and I'll be like, oh, fuck. I hate the name. Seems so cheesy. Blessed by the combined power of the Dragonflight leaders, made specifically to restore and protect Azeroth. Available for each race, same customizations that Dragonkin humanoid races get. With 4 specs based on the flights, tanks are blacks. That sounded bad, but you know what I mean. Melee DPS are blues, ranged DPS are bronzes, and healers are green and red. Available from level 1 and has a short introduction starting zone at the temple on Dragon Isles. Leaves the zone at 5, and then off to the Shadowlands they go. You're dead, man. Okay, so Dragon Isles. Floating islands located above Lordaeron. Each zone is connected to each of the 5 Dragonflights. There are a few smaller islands that are max level zones, such as Dragonkin Starting Zone that was attacked by the Twilight Dragonflight. Main characters are the updated models of Alexstrasza, Kalecgos, Chromie, Rathian, and Marithra. Khadgar is back, finally, and will be a minor character next to Jaina in Kalecgos' storyline, so you know what's going to happen there. Brown. They're going to hook back up, reconnect via hip. Main threats are Infinite and Twilight and Void. Infinite and Twilight/Void Dragonflights. Ysera won't leave the Shadowlands, but will have a huge influence in the Green Dragonflight storyline and her daughter, including the Emerald Dream. That's super plausible. She's also the one who plays a part in revealing the Dragon Isles to us mortals. Oh, so because she's that fucking special, huh? There's no borrowed power, but you can choose a buff blessing from each Dragonflight that gives you perks in stats. So yeah, there's borrowed power. 8 dungeons at launch. Won't tell you what they are. Dire Maul is a long dungeon revamped in HD, planned for 10.1, similar to Karazhan. That I haven't heard. That's a new one. That sounds kind of cool when I'm thinking about this for the very first time. I mean, Dire Maul is like old as shit. No, that's cool. Classic versions will still be available during Chromie Time and Cataclysm and Vanilla. 2 raids at 10.0. First one has 6 bosses of all. The second one has 9. Nice. Really though, you're gonna have a 15 boss 10.0 raid. God, that's rough, man. I enjoyed 5.0 of Mists, but the raid content was a little bit exhausting. Both Mists and Cataclysm. Having to do like 3 separate like end boss progression sort of things, it kind of wore me out. Having 2 at start isn't as bad, and I prefer them to be, given to us all at once, as opposed to what they did for 8.1 with Battle of Dazar Lore followed by Crucible later. I would have preferred it if they released them all at once. So 2 raids at 10, 2 raids, cool. 15 is a bit much though, man. I think at max if they did like 10 or 11 across the 2 raids, then that'd be cool. Because it's gonna feel like so many of them are filler. Especially if you have the first one at 6 and then the second one feels even longer. Whoa. No full world revamp yet. Racial capitals made/updated for each race, such as Orgrimmar Underground being added to actual Orgrimmar map. That'd be cool. Special wait, it'd be cool, but at the same time, like, hey, what about Ragefire Chasm, man? Are they gonna like gut it or whatever? Because that was like, that was like a part of it. Or is it gonna be like are we gonna find a big elevator that'll like take us down? That'd be better, I guess. Special Worgen, High, and Void Elf buildings built in some unused parts of Stormwind City, the forest behind the Mage District. They want to update some zones slowly, but are still thinking about it. No new general customizations except dragon-themed ones, as they want to wrap up with 925, with customizations for cool Tyrants, Void Elves, Mechanomes, Dark Iron Dwarves, I was going to say Mythic Orcs, Maghar Orcs, Volpira, and Zandalari Trolls. I would be opposed to this. Personally, I would want 925 to be as slim as possible. Fuck all that. I don't want to deal with, if they're ready, sure, but I don't want them to lose a day of waiting for 10.0 if we can help it. But if they're, But yeah, new hairstyles and other stuff for Worgen, tails included. Hey, they brought back the Cataclysm Alpha hairstyles, Pandaren sandal colors, and jewelry. That's very specific. This person is I think this person is a very big fan of Worgen. New race class combinations: Human Druid, Night Elf Paladin, Draenei Rogue, and Demon Hunter. A Worgen Monk, a Pandaren Druid. Wait, how many Druids? So Nightborn, yeah, I think we've got to break this down. But I'll go through the list first. Orc Demon Hunter, Goblin Monk, Void Elf Paladin, Void Elf Paladin, Lightforged Draenei Monk, Kultiran Paladin and Warlock, Nightborn Druid, Magkar Orc Warlock, and Zandalari Troll Warlock. So some of these feel contradictory. Like Magkar Orcs, they are very anti-demon, so I don't imagine, so I imagine they wouldn't want to be Warlocks. Zandalari Troll Warlocks, nah, that's fine. Druids though, so Nightborn Druid, Nightborn, Pandaren, and Human. That's a lot of shit. But hey, all they got to do is write the story. Hey, you want to go to Druid school? Cool, Druid school. Void Elf Paladin sounds like an explosion waiting to happen. But it sounds like it'd be fun. Heritage armor planned to be finished for 10.0 or 10.1. Some existing ones updated, more tints, robe versions, heritage weapons added through vendors. The glyph system is changed again. Work similar to Transmog, Mount, Pets, and Toys tab, which would be awesome. That would be awesome. You can choose to customize your spells. That's what glyphs are. Not every class and race will receive that at first, but they plan to make them throughout the expansion. You literally just said that they're glyphs. So, Notable cosmetic options include Dark Ranger Dark Visuals for Undead, Night Elf, Blood Elf Hunters, Fire, Light themed spells for Dragonkin, and Dark Iron Dwarf Paladins. Moon Elf, Priest and Paladins, new Moonkin forms, visuals such as Sun-themed, previous version of Moon-themed, Void Paladin visuals for Blood Elves, Arcane spells for Nightborn Druids, and glyphs for Worgen Warrior. Seems so inconsistent. Like glyphs. Transmog changes. You can transmog any weapon that your class can wield, such as equipped dagger and offhand, but you can transmog into staff. Sweet. That'd be cool. World event updates. Dungeon added for Winter's Veil. The boss drops the updated Ranger mount. That seems random and almost credible because it's sort of random. But then I don't think that would... Yeah, I don't really see that as something to announce. A new broom for Hallow's End will be added as a mount. It won't be instant cast and will be acquired through a special achievement. Pink and white rabbit mounts for Noble Garden. The same mount rig is used for Lunar New Year. Midsummer mount is the Flame Elemental that uses the same rig as Jaina's Water Elemental mount. Some of the NPC-only items from Classic to Modern will be available at some vendors, and some will be added through the Trial of Style event. This doesn't feel like an expansion leak. It feels like a 0.5 patch leak. Because that's everything here. This is all 0.5 patch. This is, expansion level. I lost a lot of my excitement as we were going down. I think the coolest one that I got from this was the Dire Maul thing, because I haven't seen anyone mention Dire Maul at all during this league season, so that's kind of cool. I'm gonna give this one like a 2.5. Yeah, something like that. So not bad. But yeah, this was definitely a quality versus quantity sort of thing. Some of these things were pretty plausible. Unfortunately, they weren't even memorable enough for me to be like really sure which ones I liked or not. I guess I liked this one. The Ashes of Galakaros was pretty good. It's a good, it's super fake, but this is a fun read. This is something that would sound pretty fun to play, even though, of course, we don't have like a whole lot of details. Yeah, a lot of these ones not quite as cool. Just a lot of them too much info and not enough like real substance. Like this one had some substance to it, but but at the same time, it didn't really tell us anything about what was going to happen in the story. And a lot of people get drawn into that sort of thing. White Dire Maul, some folks are saying. I just thought it was fun, and that had like some cool themes to it. So if they do a remake of that, maybe that's why it would turn people off, because it's like, oh, that's kind of out there, dude. But I thought that was kind of cool. But that is it for this week in leak season. This is a hell of a week, and hopefully they announce something soon, because this is a lot to go through. And I have a feeling that as the weeks go by, people are just going to dump out more and more stuff to see what sticks. But I hope that you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know that this one was an especially long one, but I appreciate you making it to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and we will see you next time for other stuff, maybe another episode of Leak Season, or who knows. Until then, though, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.